So much has been written about the elements of good storytelling, but few organizations can equal the credibility of the master storytellers and movie makers over at Pixar Animation Studios. There's a woman there named Emma Coates, and she's a Pixar storyboard artist, and she's offered a host of different techniques and principles that she takes into account when she's producing a story. Now, you don't have to be making movies to benefit from these particular techniques that she has to offer. Some of the biggest storytellers these days, as a matter of fact, are companies that have intelligent marketing and advertising programs. And they've learned through a lot of trial and error that good storytelling is the best way to make a point and to make it stick with people, to keep it memorable. Nothing beats a well-told story. Now, most of us don't really have a clue how to tell a good story. Emma Coates does. And here is what she has to say about good storytelling and how to make people care about your characters, narrative, and ultimately your story. So here's her 20 points. Number 1, create characters that people can admire for more than just their successes. Number 2, keep in mind what is interesting to your audience, not what is fun for you to do as a writer, because they can be two very different things. Number 3, consider using this progression to develop a character, story, and narrative arc. Number 4, simplify, focus, combine characters, hop over detours. You feel like you're losing valuable material when you do this stuff, but simplification and focus is actually what sets you free as a storyteller. Number 5, what is your character good at? What is your character comfortable with? Throw the polar opposite at him or her. Challenge your character. How does your character deal with a twist of fate? It's very telling. Number 6, invent an ending to your story before you figure out the middle. Why? Because the fact is that endings are very, very difficult, so nail that up front. Number 7, finish your story by letting go of it, even if it's not perfect. In an ideal world, you'll have both, a finish and a perfect story, but that's rare, so move on. You can do better the next time. Now, number 8, deconstruct your story. Deconstruct a story that you like. What is it that you like about that story? You've got to recognize that before you can start using it in your own stories. And number 9, put your story on paper. It gives you perspective, the perspective required to start fixing it. Don't just leave it in your head where it's hard to work with. Number 10, discount the first thing that comes to mind, as well as the second, third, fourth, and fifth things. The point is to get all the obvious stuff out of the way so that your mind has an opportunity to surprise you. Number 11, give your characters opinions. Passive or malleable characters might seem likable when you're in the writing process, but they're poison to audiences. 12, ask yourself, why must I tell this story? What is the belief burning within myself that the story will feed off? This is the heart of the story and the heart of storytelling. Number 13, as your story unfolds, ask yourself, if I were my character in this situation, how would I feel? Honesty lends credibility to the unbelievable situations we create with stories. Number 14, what are the stakes? Give your audience a reason to root for your character. What happens if your character doesn't succeed? Stack the odds against your character. 15, no work is ever wasted. If it's not working, let it go and move on. It'll come back around and you'll be able to use that work later. Number 16, know the difference between doing your best and fussing. Story is about testing. It's not about refinement. Number 17, a coincidence that gets a character into trouble is a beautiful thing, but a coincidence that gets a character out of trouble is cheating. So let's not cheat. 18, use this exercise to improve your storytelling skills. Take the building blocks of a movie that you dislike, then rearrange them into a storyline that you do like. 19, you have to identify with your situations and characters. You cannot just write cool. What would make you act that way, act the way your characters are acting. And number 20, ask yourself, what is the essence of my story? Then figure out the most economical way of telling it. So there you have it. My name is Mike Consol. I'm a professional writing coach. You can subscribe to my blog at my website, mikeconsol.com. And at my website, you can also find a full written version of this particular video. Thank you for watching.